to be sure that all your poisonous substances are kept well away from pets. But the second thing to do is to recognize the signs of poisoning, which can, of course, vomiting, diarrhea, incoordination. Poisoning can lead to seizures. There's all kinds of signs. And then the second thing is to get your pet to the vet immediately and take with you to the vet, collect up any vomiting or diarrhea, put it in a plastic bag, or any pieces of what they may have chewed on. So, for example, here in Florida, sometimes people have the little cockroach or ant bait stations that are plastic, or on farms you may have mouse poison. So any packaging of anything they may have chewed on, you should also take with you to the vet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And speaking of poisoning, I hope everybody knows the new sugar substitute that is poisonous to pets called xylitol.
Xylitol, yeah.
My mission is to make sure everybody knows the word xylitol.
Yeah,
because xylitol is in over 700 products. Most importantly, I think to pet parents would be some peanut butters. And around the holidays, especially holidays with candy, it's in sugar-free gum, mints, and chocolate. It is also in your everyday household products like toothpaste, deodorant, and mouthwash. Now, certainly, hopefully your pets are not chewing on those items, but you need to be careful. Sometimes puppies and curious pets will get into your household products. And I think toothpaste is really the big one. It's in almost all toothpaste, which is good for people, not good for pets. And it's another reason why you should never brush your pet's teeth with toothpaste made for people.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard people ask this question when a pet may have possibly been poisoned. Should I give my pet syrup of Ipecac?
The only recommended treatment for poisoning is hydrogen peroxide. That does not apply to cats, only to dogs. But no, syrup of Ipecac, all the other things that we used to use are no longer recommended, only hydrogen peroxide. And only hydrogen peroxide, hopefully you're able to consult your vet and get the okay to do that.
Yeah. I know it's scary because, I read these things all the time, people giving out their, remedies and their information that just, I don't know where they get this stuff from, but it's kind of frightening. So why don't you, as we're getting down already near the end of our interview, why don't you talk about what people would get in your classes? Where are your classes taught? What do they what is the format of them? How long do they last? That type of thing. So we would know about that.
Okay, so my classes generally are in Altamont Springs, which is on the north side of downtown Orlando. However, I take the class everywhere. I can travel. I take it to groups anywhere from 2 to 10 people. You learn and practice 3 types of CPR for cats and dogs, rescue breathing, choking management, how to bandage a wound, how to put together your own pet first aid kit. And then the lecture part would discuss poisoning, seizures, heat stroke, a wellness and an injury assessment. And the class lasts for 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And everybody says, oh, wow, it goes by so fast, kind of like this interview. It's chocked full of information. Some people go, wow, the 5 hours flew by. But everybody gets a handbook and a certificate suitable for framing.
Okay. That sounds really interesting. Now, for people not in Florida, because we're here in Florida, how would somebody find a class similar to yours in different areas?
You can go to pettech.net and search for a class in your area. And PetTech offers classes all over the world.
Okay. That's good to know. I'm writing this down. So what haven't I asked you to talk about that you may want to tell us about?
I think we covered everything I really wanted to talk about. First aid kits and poisoning. I really wanted to talk about xylitol and poisoning. I think we've covered everything I can cover without actually showing you how to do CPR and rescue breathing, which is my favorite thing about the class I teach.
Okay, I just thought of one thing after I asked that question because, I live near the Gulf and drowning. Sadly, we see senior dogs that are either blind or, not very mobile that get lost and they end up like falling into a canal. And the other day, one of the girls from the Northport area just rescued. She dove in the canal and rescued one, and it was having some breathing issues or whatever. Now, what would you do if you were in that position and the pet was in more distress than it actually was in at the time? Thankfully, she got to it quickly enough.
As far as drowning, which is covered a little bit in our Pet Saver program, of course, this is a case where you have to move the pet whether you cause more injury or not. First thing you have to do is get them out of the water before you can apply any kind of first aid. But when it comes to drowning, before you do any kind of CPR or rescue breathing, the first thing you should do is elevate the hind end and gently rock the pet back and forth. Try to expel as much water out of the lungs as possible before you move into any further processes.
Okay. That's good information to know. We're down to, just under 5 minutes right now. So could you maybe talk about your webpage and how people can look you up if they're in the Florida area so they could sign up for one of your classes?
Yes, my website is dawgswim.com, and dog is spelled DAWG, dawgswim.com. And then Dawg Swim has a Facebook page that will give you lots of information about topics. Anytime I come across a new topic, xylitol, marijuana poisoning has also become an issue in this day and age. In Florida, we're also having the bufo or cane toad poisoning problems. So you can read all kinds of articles about a variety of different topics on the Dawg Swim Facebook page.
All right, that's good. Well, I'm really glad that you were able to come on today and talk about this because there's so many important parts of keeping your pet safe in emergency situations that it's something that as you were talking, I knew a lot of things, but a lot of things I didn't know, just some of the information that you gave. And I feel that it's really important for people to understand what to do because there are so many pet lovers out there and rather than relying on Google or, getting on some group on Facebook and saying, what do I do? That's pretty much it. It's a little scary. It's a little scary.
And in an emergency situation, I know even with a smartphone, you really don't have time to start looking up things. Best to take a class, practice when it's not an emergency, have everything prepared before an emergency so that you can be a calm, confident potentially life-saving first responder.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the one thing I'm going to be sure to do is prepare my first aid kit because I have 4 dogs and I doggy daycare my daughter's dog, and you never know when one of those crazy pups might get hurt. Hopefully they won't, but it's good to be prepared and to keep one in my car. I like that idea very much.
Well, yes,
Mhm.
one of the things is sometimes it's the little things in class that make the biggest difference. Most of the times students haven't had to perform CPR, but they will say to me, having the in case of emergency contact information in my glove box or having that first aid kit and knowing how to use it, sometimes it's the little things that are life-saving.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Okay, everybody, we're sorry we have to say goodbye to Gretchen already because there's a lot of information here that she could share with us. But I want to thank you, Gretchen, for being with us again today. And again, her company's name is Dawg Swim, and that's DAWGSWIM.com. So you can look that up. And also, one thing that she did mention, I'm going to mention one more time, is if you're interested in taking classes that are outside of the Florida area here, she said to look on pettech.net. And that was a really good piece of information. So thanks so much, Gretchen, for being with us today.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. So, okay, everybody, until next time, remember that a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives. So please be sure your pet is microchipped and wearing its ID tags. If it is chipped, please register that chip and make sure the information's updated. I'm your host, Patty Giarrusso, and this has been Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.